I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. All I'm saying is, I hope the tracksuit guy makes it to the top.
I don't think he's gonna make it to the top. I'm sorry. I don't think he's gonna find that inner strength.
So what'd you think of this episode, Kobe?
I think it's indicative of what I think about Tower of God overall, which is that I think it's a really interesting concept, and what it's doing with its characters is like really different than a lot of animes that I've seen, but in its execution, I think is I'll outright say it, I'm confused.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
What about you?
I'm with you on that one. In that one, episodes 1 through 8, it was a bit rocky. Like there were points where I was like, oh, okay, this could be really good. And then particularly with the last few, it was just kind of like, where is this going? Why is this happening? Like, what are the rules of this world? And this episode is more of that, where it's like, these characters are interesting, and they're put in interesting situations. But the way that it all connects and flows, I think, it does not resonate with me. Like I feel like there's like a lot of missing pieces. Maybe they probably could have stretched this out a little bit further to kind of give every character their own space, their own moments. Because like this one, it feels like a very fast-forwarded version of like an actual like arc for all these characters. But instead, we just get it all in like one go. And I think that might be part of the problem, is like the pacing is off, I guess.
It's just, I think the problem is just this whole game of tag is, I just don't think it would, maybe I'm just an idiot, but I just don't think that game of tag has been explained well, like the stakes and the teams and what they're after in terms of like the rankings and who's going to pass the test.
What this lacks is a good old-fashioned scoreboard, because they mentioned points. They mentioned something about points, and I guess only a certain amount of people can pass per like group. Like Endorsi, for example, betraying the other, I guess, what are they called, fishermen?
Sure. Because I know all those rankings.
Right, yeah. She lured them all to one location so she could kill them all, because only 4 of the 6 can survive, right? And but then there's also a points thing. So if you win the game, this is why a scoreboard. You need a scoreboard where it says, okay, these are the rankings. These are the people that are definitely going to pass. These are the people that might pass if they win the game. And these are the people that would benefit from killing everyone else off.
And one thing I want to bring up is like about death. I don't know how to put into words about what I feel about how this anime deals with like its themes, because it does something interesting. It's sure the story is a bit confusing, but it seemed like it tries to have a unifying theme overall that these characters actually go through. And that's something I don't think you see a lot in anime. Like this was the episode about how does each character fight, right? Like how do they go about things? Like Endorsi will kill everybody in her way in order to survive, because that's what she's used to. Bam will fight his way by protecting people and fighting for what he believes in, even when the person he's fighting for doesn't want him to do that. Ho was going to fight dirty, like backstabbing, because he knew he wasn't strong enough in order to do it. And then we had the wrap-up speech from the other girl who's like Ho's friend, I guess, who was sitting next to him, who had the big voiceover monologue about like, I can't fight the way that these guys fight because they're clearly stronger. I have to fight the only way I know how. And on paper, that's really great. Like that's a great thing to do for characters, like to have them unite through a theme and approach it in different ways. It shows that makes a really diverse cast. But again, it's like when I don't understand the story that it's telling, then it kind of falls a little flat.
And speaking of themes, I mean, the other theme that I picked up on was like strength, like who's got it and who doesn't. It's kind of like, maybe you could say it's kind of your classic haves versus have-not stories, or hard work versus talent kind of thing. But this is more of like more, I guess, explicit, and like, well, if you've got it, then you've got it. If you don't, then you're pretty much fucked. And that's kind of where I saw it, where the chick that had the voiceover monologue, like you were saying, she was talking about how she couldn't fight like these people because she literally couldn't, because she doesn't have the strength to do it. And she was kind of relating to Ho, because Ho did not have the strength to defend his people and does not have the strength to climb the tower, so that's why he had to be all shady and shit.
Yeah.
And that's why he was also jealous. He was jealous and envious of Bam, because Bam, he just gets it. He was chosen by the tower, and he has super magic powers. Like, I'm interested to see where that theme goes, because what is this tower about? Is this tower trying to prove a point? Like, if you're either born with strength or you're not, or is it trying to actually challenge people and see who's actually worthy, like in more than just like what you're born with and what you're not? And that's what I'm interested in. All right, Coby, would you like to sign us off?
Sure, you've been watching this on Nerd Blaze. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about Tower of God. Tell us if we're right or wrong. And go check out some of our other videos. They're a lot of fun. Thank you very much, and we'll be back next week.
See ya.